Among the Hidden, Chapter 18. Luke said. He couldn't look at Jen's triumphant grin. I don't think I... He thought about how terrifying it was just running back and forth between his house and Jen's. Even this morning, on his third run through their yards, his heart had pounded so hard he'd wondered if it could burst from fear. And in the yard at least, he was sure, or as sure as he could be, that no one was watching. How could Jen think he would dare go out in public where he knew people could see him, people in government no less, and say, I'm a third child, I want to be treated like everyone else? Scared? Jen said softly. Luke could only nod. Jen turned back to the computer. Well, I am too, she said matter-of-factly. She typed something, then looked back at Luke. Some, but don't think... Among the Hidden, Chapter 18. Luke said. He couldn't look at Jen's triumphant grin. I don't think I... He thought about how terrifying it was just running back and forth between his house and Jen's. Even this morning on his third run through their yards, his heart had pounded so hard he'd wondered if it could burst from fear. And in the yard at least, he was sure, or as sure as he could be, that no one was watching. How could Jen think he would dare go out in public, where he knew people could see him, people in government no less, and say, I'm a third child, I want to be treated like everyone else? Scared? Jen said softly. Luke could only nod. Jen turned back to the computer. Well, I am too, she said matter-of-factly. She typed something, then looked back at Luke. Some, but don't you think it'll be a relief? No more hiding, no more pretending, just being free? Luke wondered if he'd always misunderstood the meaning of the word relief. Jen's rally sounded like his worst nightmare. You can think about it, she said. You don't have to decide anything today. Now, ready to chat? Luke looked back at the computer screen where rows of words were unfurling. Carlos typed, It's 1:05 here, and my parents think it's a waste to run the AC during the day. Can you say heartless? Sean typed, Why don't you just crank it up, then turn it off again right before they get home? That's what Pat and I do. They'll never know. Carlos typed, Yeah, but my parents probably read their electric bill. Yolanda typed, So what are they going to do, ground you? Carlos typed, Good point. I'm searching for the temp control right now. Yolanda typed, Where's Jen? Sean typed, You know she never gets up this early. Carlos typed, Curses. My parents had the temp control locked somehow. Told you they were evil. Where is Jen? I can't wait for her sarcastic comment. Luke read the words Jen was typing. I'm right here, and Sean, I do so get up early. I just don't always choose to see you first thing. And Carlos, what's wrong? Is there sweat in your eyes? There's only one R in sarcastic. She hit another key and the words appeared right up with everyone else's. They were followed quickly by another line. Sean typed, Good morning to you too, Jen. Glad to see you're still among the living. Jen typed quickly, No, just among the hidden. Not the same thing at all. Then she sent it too. What is this, Luke asked, some sort of game? He remembered Jen mentioning a Carlos before and never explaining who he was. Were these some sort of computerized imaginary friends? Carlos, Sean, Yolanda. They're all other third children. Sean's even got a brother, Pat, who's a fourth child. This is how I talk to them. Luke watched the next line of type appear. Carlos typed, Thanks for the sympathy, Jen. But how? Luke asked, still doubtful. Oh, you know, it's the net, Jen said. If you've got a spare hour or two sometime, I'll give you the technical gobbledygook to explain it. All I care about is that it works. I'd die without someone to talk to. She was typing even as she talked. Luke craned his head to see what she wrote. Guess what? The kid I told you about. Luke, he's here with me. Quickly, 3 hi Lukes appeared on the screen. Luke fought down panic. But the government, he said, they'll find me. Jen playfully slugged his arm. Chill, okay? Nobody from the government can get into this chat room. We all use a password. Just third children know it. And anyhow, even if someone else read this, what would they know? Just as somewhere in the world there's a kid named Luke? Big deal. But they can trace you through the computer and they'll find me too. Luke's heart was still pounding. Look, if they could trace people through the computer or through this chat room, wouldn't they have found me a long time ago? Jen asked. Luke tried to think clearly. Your parents, he said. You said they bribe people, so you're safe, but mine... Jen was shaking her head. No, I'm not safe, she said grimly. Even my parents couldn't bribe the population police if they found me. Maybe to keep them from looking, but maybe not even that. The population police get some ridiculously big reward for every illegal they find. Why do you think I hide it all? Why do you think we have to have the rally? Everybody ought to be safe, and nobody should have to use bribes just to walk down the street or go to a mall or take a ride in a car. Luke glanced back at the computer screen where the conversation continued. How did all those people find out the password, he asked. How did you? Well, I created the chat room, so I made it up, Jen said. And I knew a couple other shadow kids, and I got my parents and their parents to get the password to them. And then some of those kids spread the word to other kids they knew. Last time I counted, I've had contact with 800 kids. Luke shook his head. He didn't think even his parents knew that many people. So what is the password, he asked. Free, Jen said. It's free.